Hi guys, it's your girl Gistwithmadonna and I'm the host for Gistwithmadonna Talk Show. And yeah, Gistwithmadonna Talk Show, it's a very informative show where different things will be talked about, different areas of life. So please, stay tuned. On today's show, we'll be talking about early adulthood and its challenges. And we have our guests with us, Deborah Lozier, who is a computer scientist, and Michael Jarrett, who is a project manager. We have the early adulthood, we have the middle adulthood, and then we have the late adulthood. But today we are talking about the early adulthood. So Deborah, who is an adult?
We could say an adult is someone that has gotten to 18 years and is mature enough to make decisions and stand by decisions irrespective of the consequences.
So now we're talking about its challenges now. So I know adulthood comes with so many things. It comes with so many challenges, depression, and we have stress, intimacy, that's relationships and all those stuff. So now I want to ask you, Michael, how do you feel when some of your life goals aren't met? Like the things you've already planned for and you've seen them, you're trying to walk towards them and they're not forthcoming. Like, how do you feel? What's your reaction? Like, how have you been able to deal with such situation?
Well, growing up, of course, everybody has their goals. We have things that we want to achieve by a certain time.
Okay.
And sometimes life is not so fair.
Okay.
It doesn't give us the opportunity to achieve those goals within that stipulated amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But usually what I do is to persevere. Either I still go forward towards that goal, no matter the circumstances, no matter the time, or I fall back and I find a different route.
Okay.
That's how I handle my own challenges. Because there are things that I hope to have achieved by now. Okay. I don't have them in my hands.
Okay.
But I still think that I will be able to achieve them in the future, no matter what.
Okay.
So it's all about perseverance.
So I understand that you both are graduates, and yeah, we already know how the life is while in school, our parents sending us cash and all those stuff. So now I really want to know, how is life after school, especially for a young man?
As a young man in Nigeria, it won't be very easy. Personally, it's not been easy for me, but I know that what you just have to do is just to do your own bit and keep praying that one day things will not smile on you and things will go your way.
All right, so now we get this whole vibe, this whole thing, and then we look at the people our age bracket, the 20s, let's say, now come to their statuses, either WhatsApp, Facebook, and then you see them screaming and shouting. They don't explain this adulthood give us so adulthood na scam. So now I'm asking Michael, what do you think that our parents made a mistake by not actually lecturing us about adulthood, or do you think it's not in their place at all to give us a proper lecture as growing adults?
Well, I think that yes, our parents are to bear some part of the blame, because in Nigeria, especially in Africa, we do not have that sort of relationship with our parents where they prepare us for future challenges. Our parents do not prepare us for heartbreaks, do not prepare us for certain things that we're going to encounter in society. You know, our parents should be able to tell us that these are the challenges they're going to encounter when you go to university, these are the challenges they're going to encounter with women or with guys. There's no talk about sex education, there's nothing. It's just vague, which is a whole big contrast with parents in the Western world. And I believe that that's why they develop far faster than we do. And I believe that that's why we encounter so many challenges, because experience is one of the best teachers. And we don't have to have direct experience. We can have experience from our parents telling us, or from maybe our elder siblings or uncles, or just elders in general. There needs to be a consensus that parents tell us that these are things that are going to encounter, and whatever we encounter, we can fall back and tell them that this is what I'm encountering right now. How do I get out of this situation? So yes, definitely, I think our parents are partly to blame for some things.
Okay, I love that because it was also listed in the challenges early adulthood, the early adulthood faces or must have encounter in such a way. So yeah, I think our parents also, they kind of have a role to play in that. Now, can we let's just go back to like now we're talking about us now being trying to make decisions of ourselves, life decisions. And you know, it can be a little bit cracky. Sometimes we take decisions out of emotions. We take decisions out of emotions. So now, how are you able to deal with your emotional state in the midst of trying to make a decision for yourself? Maybe the future, you're trying to make plans either financially or emotionally or vice versa. So how can you or how do you deal with your emotions in the midst of making decisions?
Well, for me, dealing with my emotions is sort of a big deal to me because, not everybody has the same emotional states. Some people are more emotional, some people are less emotional. And in Nigeria, of course, life is going to hit you at certain points. You have rejections. You can be rejected to JAMB, to enter university. You can have plans. Maybe you pass JAMB, you go to school. You pass JAMB, you go to Red Post UME, you do not pass. Those kind of challenges. But for someone like me, I deal with my own challenges decisively. My emotional state, I deal with it very decisively. I've trained myself because if I let my emotional state get the better of me, I'll be a wreck. So I deal with my own emotional state decisively. I don't allow it to get the better of me. I always seem to think that there is a better tomorrow. Okay. As long as I can sleep and wake up, I can go and move on to the next hustle. There are things that I wanted so bad and then I didn't get it. And yes, I would feel bad. My emotional state would be in a wreck. And there are decisions that I want to make and I'm not sure that this is going to be the right thing, But definitely I just try to be calm and I try not to be indecisive. Okay. I try to make firm decisions together within myself. So for me, I just try to deal with everything one day at a time. I don't let my emotional state get the better of me.
Wow, that's a good one. So yeah, Debbie, what advice are you going to give to someone who is very emotional and has issues with dealing with his or her life or trying to take decisions for herself or for himself?
As a young adult, taking decisions is a very critical stage. At a very critical stage that you're entirely new to, you have to be very careful, There's some decisions you take now that maybe when you get to 40 or 50 years and you look back, you regret and you're like, had it been I knew, I wouldn't have taken that decision. Had it been I told this person, The advice I would give to whoever, an adult, a young adult, on decision making is this. There are people that know you better than you, In as much as you as an adult, you're responsible for your decisions. I think if you can sit within yourself and check a lot of things, check those, whatever it is you're going to, check them. If you don't have a decisive conclusion, are you getting me? You could ask someone who you can confide in. It could be your dad, it could be your mom, it could be a friend of yours. That's why I encourage people to have older friends, because when you're friends with people that are older than you gain a lot from their experiences and from their knowledge. Or when you sit down with them, you talk with them, you see how they talk. Intelligent people, not just anyhow people, So when you sit down with them and speak with them, let's say you have a little issue, you can walk up to them and tell them, this is what I'm passing through. But then, your decisions should not be taken based on advices you get from people outside. Because as an adult, you're responsible for your decisions.
Exactly.
If you take advice, you go to someone and meet the person, see my problem, see what I'm passing through, and the person advises you, it's up to you. I expect whoever it is to come back and weigh the advice is given to him in the balance of his heart and see whatever it is that he's facing and know the ones to take and the ones to drop. Not every advice is correct or is good for you. So personally, what I do whenever I'm confronted with issues that I can't go through, I have someone I confide in. I walk up to him, look at what I'm passing through. He tells me from his own experience and say, this is what I would do in your situation. Then after speaking with him, I come back to myself and I fall into myself, maybe while lying down on the bed or while walking or taking a stroll. I think over those things I discuss with him, then I know what decision to take. So that's it.
Wow, that's a very brilliant answer from Debbie. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this peer pressure. You know, it has really taken its toll on adults, early adults now, and it has been causing lots of harm than good. You know, seeing the way the country is today and the way things are actually going on in the country, lots of people have fallen prey. So now, I really want us to talk about this peer pressure. How can one be able to deal with the pressures from peers? You know, looking around you, you're seeing that you're the only person that hasn't gotten this car. Or the only person. Now, the trendy stuff, we have the iPhones, the electronic gadgets. We have, for the ladies, we have the human hair and all those stuff. So you're seeing yourself as, I'm the only person in my clique that hasn't gotten to that stage. And you feel so bad, you feel intimidated, you're pressurized to do things that might not, or actually they're not okay at that particular time. So now, can I ask you, Michael, how can one be able to deal with such pressures?
Any young guy or any young lady can have. You know, when you go to university, you see all your mates, they're smoking, they're drinking. It depends on you. Do you want to? You have to know yourself. Not everything is bad, but excess of everything is bad. Do you want to? And you can handle certain things by having very responsible friends, or like a responsible strong point around you. Maybe your parents, your family, your elder siblings, people that have been through those stages, people that must you think on your own. Maybe your brother has been through this. Like me, I know that when I was in school then, I had friends that were smoking, and not like I could not join them. But when I discussed things with my dad and I looked at my training, it didn't permit me. But I still remained friends with them. But I explained myself thoroughly to them. I do not want this. Respect my decisions. Okay. Let my decisions be heard and let my opinions be heard. You know? Not just peer pressure in the sense of friendship. There can be peer pressure in the sense of relationships. Yeah, exactly. You know? You can date a woman that wants you to be a big boy, per se, in her own terms. You know, you can date a woman that just wants you to have a car. If not, she's not dating you.
Okay, now, so I like the fact that you had to bring out some points. He said he had someone to fall back to, and that was his dad. You know, there are some persons that don't have that relationship with their parents. Not their dad, not their mom. And there's some persons that you made mention of good background, family background check and all those stuff. There are persons that are from good backgrounds, that they were well brought up by their parents. But along the line, it's as if something happened and they fell off. So should we say it's still about the peer pressure can be handled by your parents, or from your parents, or from your background and those stuff? What can we say about those people that have these things and yet it wasn't controlled?
Well, what I believe in is your parents or your training or your family can only give you the backbone. Okay. Eventually, it depends on you to know what is right from what is wrong. You have to know what is good for you and what is bad for you. And you know, most of us, many people do not have their parents stay with them. Many people do not have the relationship even with their parents. Many people with their parents do not have the time for them. You know, but it depends on you. Your sense of maturity, does it permit you to know what is right from what is wrong? You know, you have to know what is good for you. Yeah. And if you feel like maybe you're getting addicted to something, or you're going into a state that you do not want to, or you will not be proud of, then you can come out of it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's wonderful. Can I ask, have you been broke before? Some persons for this life, if like say they never experienced brokenness. So have you been broke before I continue my question?
Times.
Okay. So now how were you able to deal with it at that particular time? That's where depression falls in.
Yes,
and all
you're
those
right.
stuff.
Honestly, being broke can lead you to a lot of things, I've been at a stage where I didn't have what Nigerian calls shishi. I didn't have it in my pockets, But I thank God for the kind of father I have.
Oh, okay.
I have a father that he sees it as a point of duty to provide for his kids, and I bless God for giving me that kind of father. But then again, when you look at your fingers on your hand, not all of them are equal. There are some people that don't have this father figure that Michael and I have been talking about.
Wow.
Because I believe, as a man, you're the male child actually. By default, is supposed to look up to his father as his hero, while taking some things from his mom. That's what I believe. But what about those that don't have this father figure? How do they deal with this brokenness?
Exactly.
How do they deal with it? Now, no matter how broke you are, the society will always condemn you when you go and do desperate things, when you take desperate measures to come out of your brokenness. As I said earlier, I've been broke 1,000 times. How did I get out of it? Well, I won't say man I fell from heaven.
Okay.
You do understand? I won't say man I fell from heaven. I wouldn't say this, or I can't say this is a step by step rule on how to get out of brokenness. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
There is no manual, there is no PDF file where you can get out of brokenness. What you have is ways to make money. Are you getting my point?
I like
ways
that.
To make money.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Make money, to take you out of your broke state. You get my point? Now, how you handle yourself during that your broke state defines you as a man. You in that broke state, there are a lot of things going through your head. I'm speaking from experience. Do I do this? Do I go and do this? Do I go and steal? If I go and steal, at least I'll eat. I get my point. I've seen cases of where people were killed for going to steal just a cup of curry. Are you getting my point? Yeah. You wouldn't say they weren't broke. They were broke. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
But then again, I think the beliefs you have as a person and the kind of upbringing you had and what makes you up as a man is what will be in play at that particular stage where you are broke. The only thing you can do as a young adult, I would say, in my own situation, the only thing you have is just to keep hoping. Honestly, I can't say this is how to get out of it. This is what you should do. No. Well, handling brokenness, it differs in person.
Okay.
Maybe the way Michael handles it is different from the way I handle it.
Yeah.
But when I'm broke, you will know. Do you get my point? Because it's not as if I'm going to throw all my weight on you. It's a really bad state, and whoever is going through it should have that reset button where you can press and then be falling within yourself and say, at least I'm better than whoever it is that is dead. Because a person will die alive, then they see money, then they did
exactly.
To start with.
Exactly.
So that's it.
Okay, like you rightly said, everyone has his or her own way of trying to deal with the brokenness. But I love the fact that he had to personalize it. He talked about his own way and how he is able to deal with brokenness. So we can't really give you tips on how to deal with brokenness, but we can actually say things out of experience that you can be able to relate to. Do you understand? So I'll push the question back to you again to tell us, just kind of in a summary, how you can be or how you've dealt with your broke state.
You can't count. It happens almost every year to everybody. Even rich men get broke. Some of them take loans from banks. In fact, so many of them are broke. But one thing there with being broke is don't look at other people. Don't look at what they have. Social media in Nigeria now, it gives you this fake perspective of everything. So do not look at other people first of all. Focus on yourself. Life is a personal race. You focus on yourself. And number two, if you have a network of good friends or family for immediate relief, if not, you will die. You have to have people that you can ask, reliable people that you can ask, for some relief from your state. And then number three, after you get out from maybe your first state of brokenness, you have to start looking forward to making moves that will prevent you from going back into that state.
Okay, yeah.
So you do not want to remain the same way that you were. Life will pass you by.
Okay. Wow. All right, that was a good one from Michael, and I can relate too. I can relate totally. I can relate. So we are not. I think from what you've heard from our guests, you can be able to relate on how to deal with your broke state or your brokenness at the moment, and of course, we can be able to give you lots of advices and all this stuff. So yeah. Early adulthood comes with lots of things, lots of them. I mentioned earlier today where I talked about depression, intimacy, parenthood, and we discussed about some of these things I mentioned earlier today. So I'm here to say, take it easy, one step at a time, and also know this, that as long as there's life, there's definitely hope. And that brings us to the end of this show on Gist with Madonna. I am Madonna. And yeah, thank you so much to our lovely guests who graced this invitation. Yes, please, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So yes, this is a wrap. Hi guys, my name is Madonna, and I'm your Jesus, sorry, Bele. Hi guys, it's your girl Madonna, and the show for